Well, hello there. So I do have the Holley high ram intake on there. I did finish up the 4 10AN lines for the crankcase vent that I put on there. So last video I welded 4 10AN bungs to the valley cover, and then I do have 4 10AN lines coming around here to the catch can. A little bit excessive, but I've used these little 2-port catch cans before and I wanted to go bigger, and the price difference for that one was like another $10, so I just felt like doing that and using all 4 of the ports. So now I know 100% I will not have any crankcase ventilation issues. I also did get my 4-inch to 3-inch coupler finally came in. The intake that I bought is going to have the 105mm opening. This one's the 92, this one's Hunter's, so I'll be giving this one back when I get mine, but it doesn't ship for like another couple weeks yet. So just kind of getting this in there and getting everything mocked up. Next step is to pull this out. I'm going to mock up the fuel rails and everything else, get the vacuum lines routed, and then I'm going to start to mock up what I need to do for the throttle body. I'm going to have to probably cut this here, turn the pipe up, and then I also want to hide my boost controller and the vacuum lines underneath the intake. So let's do that. All right, so I got the intake all set up. I got the injectors on, the 10AN bungs on, then I got the map sensor hooked up here. I'm just going to do this little line off, and then this line's going to go to my fuel pressure regulator and boost controller, and then I'll just kind of tuck this thing back. Plenty of room behind the intake to clear the firewall. I'm not sure how this is going to fit with the alternator. I did have the alternator modified before to fit with the stock intake, so we'll see what we got to do there. So I'll throw it on and see how everything fits. Alright, so I did get some of this stuff organized now. I do have both the injector wires ran through the middle. I will come from the middle to the outside with the injector wires. I did run the boost controller underneath there, and then I'm just going to be extending the line for the boost controller. I did end up having to extend my vacuum line here to the backside, but then I just ran everything kind of underneath the vent hoses. So I do have a nice place to drop it, so now I'll drop the intake on and try to get everything fit up with the fuel lines. Okay, so made a little bit of progress. Had to wait on a fitting, and then I ended up using this coupler and realized that I wanted to go at a 90 out instead of straight out. So it was a lot easier to do this with the piping that I already had, so decided to do that instead. I did wait on this little fitting back here because I had to cap the front of this rail. So I'm gonna do like a T back there, wire it off to both rails, and then I'm gonna do a return back over to here. But my issue I'm having right now is that hits the firewall. So I'm gonna have to bend that thing down, and I might have to actually change the fitting that's on the line to a straight fitting. And then the crossover line, I'm probably gonna go up a little bit higher and do a 90 on that fitting. So just kind of a lot of just little stuff I got to do, tinkering around, not really much to record, but there it is, it's all in there. I just got to hook up these lines. I do have to put the catch can lines inside the fuel rail, so it goes like in between the intake and the fuel line, but that's not too bad. So I'm also going to be adding a blow-off valve. So I just took the original pipe that I had on there, and I'm actually going to flip it backwards like this, and then I'm going to have a blow-off valve going down right there. So I did trim and add a little bit of a piece here. So I just got to adjust the couplers a little bit, and that should work okay. But first thing I want to do is probably get the intake back out, turn that fitting, and then make that new line for the back. So let's do that. Okay, so I do have the intake all on now. I don't have it bolted down yet, but still got to do the injector wiring and just a couple other little things. Put the intake pipe on and should be good. I ended up having enough room to just spin that fitting up like that. I put a 45 degree on the back side and then a 90 over on this side, and it actually worked pretty good. I do have the return just on the passenger side with a 180, and then it just kind of goes around the back of the intake back to the regulator. So I'm going to button that stuff up, and next video we'll actually go drive it. So that should be good, and hopefully it doesn't have the issue anymore. So this one's actually like the 92mm intake. The one that I ordered was the 105, so it has the wider opening on the lid. So that will be a little bit of a difference. It's a 102 or 105 throttle body. So then when I get my other intake, it ships in like a week. So when I get my other one, I'll just switch that stuff out. So not really many other big changes. So I'll get that stuff done, and I'll see you guys in the next one.